Now let's talk about translating the third person personal pronouns in a sentence. Most of the time we will not find this difficult because we'll understand by the context that we need a word like he or she or they or them. But sometimes we may encounter something just a little bit different, like we'll see in this sentence. Initium gentes Troianae in insula Creta fuit. Ea est nostra mater antiqua. Obviously, we can see right away that the form of the personal pronoun that we are going to be looking at is ea. So what is its antecedent and what should it refer to and how should we translate it in the sentence? Before we answer any of those questions, it's important to look at the context of the entire sentence, or in this case, the entire two sentences. Let's begin by making sure we know what the first sentence says. Initium gentes Troianae, the beginning of the Trojan race, in insula Creta fuit, fuit on the island Crete. Ea est nostra mater antiqua. Ea, if we recall our forms, can be the feminine nominative singular. It can also be the neuter nominative and accusative plural. It can even be the feminine ablative singular. In my sentence preceding this, there are no neuter plural nouns. There are three feminine singular nouns, gentes, insula, and Creta. It's likely then that ea is in the feminine and singular, which means it has to be the subject of our sentence. So which of these words is it referring to? The nation, gentes, the island, insula, or the specific name of the island, Creta. If we look at the remaining part of the sentence that ea is a part of, we notice that it is going to be talking about whatever the ea represents, that it is our ancient mother, nostra mater antiqua. So, because of what we know the first sentence says, we must understand that the ea is referring, you can think of it as referring to insula, or you can think of it as referring to Creta. It really won't matter. You get the same idea either way you think about it. Ea is feminine, and if we were translating this like a normal pronoun, we would translate it as she because it's feminine. But because we are referring to an island or the specific name of an island, instead of translating it as she, we'll translate it as it. It is our ancient mother. So from beginning to end, the sentence says, Initium gentes Troianae, the beginning of the Trojan race, fuit was in insula Cretae, on the island Crete. Ea est, it is, nostra mater antiqua, our ancient mother. Now let's take a look at a second example. Subito ut canam perabant de caelo monstra dira et fera circum eos volaverunt. I hope you could easily spot our personal pronoun, eos. I like that it follows the preposition circum because I know that it has to be the object of that preposition. The os tells me that the antecedent is masculine and that it is plural. This is an interesting sample to look at because as I check out the nouns in the sentence, I have kainam, which is feminine and singular, kylo, which is neuter and singular, and monstra, which is also neuter and singular. I don't have any masculine nouns in the sentence that are plural. So where does this find its antecedent? The answer is on the ending of the verb, the same place that you're going to find the subject of the sentence, perabant. Perabant uses they as the subject for this little tiny clause, ut caenam perabant, right? So they is the subject of that little tiny clause. And it is that they subject which the eos is referring to. Subito, ut caenam perabant, suddenly, as they were preparing dinner, de caelo, down from the sky, dira et fera monstra, fearful and untamed monsters, volaverunt, flew, circum eos, around them. So the them is referring to the they. Those are two really interesting examples of how the third person personal pronoun will be used in a sentence in Latin. Sometimes we'll see a feminine pronoun, but instead of translating it as she or her, we'll have to translate it as it, because the noun that it is referring to would be a thing in the English language. And just like in this example, sometimes the antecedent is not a specific noun, but is a subject represented by the ending on a verb. There are no practice questions in this part of the lesson. Instead, we're just going to have you jump right into the story, The Traveling Tales. Good luck with everything.